Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name is Rabbi Don Weber, and I send you greetings from the Berkshire Mountains in western Massachusetts. It's an honor to be here with you this evening, even remotely, and I want to thank my colleague and my dear friend, Rabbi Litwack, for giving me this opportunity. I also want to thank Cantor Norman for being such a gracious host and answering all my questions and making sure that I arrive with you on Friday evening. This week we look at Parashat Shalach Lecha in the middle of the book of Numbers. This is a pivotal portion because we're in the second year of the Exodus and we're almost at the land of Canaan and we're about ready to go into the land of Canaan, but as we all know, something is going to happen that delays this for another 38 years, and that's going to happen this week. As we begin the portion, Moses sends out spies to the land to check out what it's like and how it's going to be to conquer the land, because here we are, we're ready. 12 spies go out, 12 come back. 10 of them come and report that the land is amazing and the produce is incredible, but the people there are giants and they devour their enemies. The cities are fortified and we will never survive. 2 of the spies give a different message, but we're going to leave that for another time. Right now we're going to look at those 10 because they say Gewalt. If Yiddish had been invented, they would have said Gewalt. And the people went to pieces. They started crying to go back to Egypt. They started saying they wish they had died in the desert. And they wondered why Moses had done this to them. Well, God looks at the people and turns to Moses and says, how long are they going to do this? All the miracles I've done, all the things I've done for them, and the first time something goes wrong, they want to go back. You know what? I'm done with this. Stand back, Moses. I'm going to wipe them out. I'm going to wipe them out. I'm going to give you a new people. We're going to start over. It's going to be great. You can hear the fury in God's voice as this is being said. And Moses comes back with the greatest response I can imagine. Rather than saying, no, it wouldn't be just, or no, that's, not the right plan, Moses goes, what will the neighbors say? Literally, Moses says, God, the Egyptians, the ones who brought us out from there, when they see this happen and you wipe out the people, they're going to say, look, that God wasn't even strong enough to fulfill the promise. You want them saying that? What are the neighbors going to say about your behavior? And it works. God doesn't wipe out the people. They don't get off scot-free because the result is that they're not going to go into the land of Canaan until every one of that generation has died off, but they're not wiped out on the spot. And we see over and over in Torah that God and Moses have this balancing relationship that is what I like to think is the best thing to have in any relationship, where you can depend on the other to tell you the truth and to say it in a way that you can hear. And maybe this comes from a partner or a dear friend, a coworker, a sibling, a parent, a child, whomever it might be, having somebody who will say, hey, how's that going to sound if you really do that? And say, I understand you're angry. Go on, let that anger out. But before you go and do what you're saying, what are the neighbors going to say? So I'd love to simply suggest that every one of us gets such a person, but that doesn't always work because it's not so easy to find people like that. So I'll share another suggestion with you that goes back a long way for me. Along with studying to be a rabbi, I also learned to fly an airplane back when I was 16 years old. And I've been a pilot ever since. Just flew for my own enjoyment. And one of the things pilots do is concentrate a great deal on safety. It's important. It's beautiful to fly, but you need to do it right. And something I heard a long time ago that helped me in the circumstances where I was alone in the plane, or I was the only pilot in the plane. Airliners have at least 2 people that can sit and discuss these things. When you fly a private plane, you're the one making the decisions. And someone gave me a way that helped me in the same way that Moses helped God in this portion. He said, whenever you're thinking of doing something that's a little bit outside the box, ask yourself, how will it look on the accident report? It's really an interesting question. And lest you think we're talking about wild and reckless things, we're not. There was one evening where I came home to my home airport, which was a small airport in New Jersey, and the lights are on a timer. And you can click the microphone and turn them on, and they'll stay on while you land. And I clicked the microphone and the lights didn't come on. I clicked again and they didn't come on, and I tried another radio and they didn't come on. So I said, okay, something is obviously broken with the lights. And I looked down and I could see the airport. And nearby there were a lot of lights up on stanchions. And I thought, there really isn't a problem with landing here, even without the runway lights on. And I started to think of doing that. And I said to myself, and how will it look on the accident report? If it doesn't work out right, how am I going to look at people and say, yes, I thought it was a smart idea to do that? I didn't do that. I landed half an hour away. My wife had to come get me. We got the plane the next day. It was all fine. And I didn't do something dumb. And I'd like to suggest that for those times when we are alone, which these days means a lot of the time we spend online, it really would help to have our own Moses hanging around. Just before we hit post on something we're about to post on social media, if there was someone to say to us, not how's that going to look on the accident report, but how would you like your children to read this? How would you like your best friends to read this? How would you like your grandchildren to read this? And if that gives us pause, then maybe it's a good idea that we hold off on posting it. I mean, the chances are nothing will go wrong. But how will it look on the accident report? What happens if someone were to collect all of our pithy sayings on social media and put them together in one place? Would we be proud of what we have posted? Or would we be uncomfortable? I think it's something that we each can learn from, and that we can each learn the urgency of from this week's Torah portion. For those times where we have a Moses with us to say, hey, what are the neighbors going to say? It would do us well to listen. And for those times that we find ourselves alone, it doesn't hurt to think, how will this look on the accident report? Moses still has a lot to teach us, possibly even more so today. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.